Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you something new, something fresh, something I've never made before. A 100% pure reflect Spriggan. We do not use any attacks of any kind. The enemies hit us and then they die. As always, I will show you every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now this is a pure reflect Spriggan, which means no crit multiplier. We don't worry about spell. We don't worry about dots, nothing like that. The enemies hit us, the damage is reflected back to them, and they die. It is literally the easiest build you will ever play. We are using multi-form Werebear, which does give us a couple of benefits, which I'll talk about during the skill portion. But ultimately, you just keep casting Thorn Shield, enemies hit you, and they explode. It is one of the funnest builds I have played in a long time. I've had a really good time exploring Reflect and seeing what it can do inside of Last Epoch. But ultimately, Spriggan Form, and then you just spam Thorn Shield. That is the entire build, and you are unbelievably tanky. It is very hard for enemies to kill you. Really, really hard. All right, let's finish off these last enemies. It's also weird that you want to get hit by the enemy. So instead of trying to dodge everything, you're running in front of everyone. Let me show you something else really cool. Most people don't like spire maps. Well, here, you don't have to move. This is the start of a run. There are spires, and we're just going to let the spire hit us. And we'll just hang out right at the beginning. You don't want to track down those spires. And probably one more, we are done. Oh, that was easy. Now I want to show you Lagon and an Harbinger to show you what it's like versus a boss fight. So Lagon is going down. Go ahead, kill me. Come on. Quit trying to hit me and hit me. All right, Lagon is down. Now watch this. Again, you want the Harbinger to hit you as many times as possible. Ready? We're not going to move. Stand in one spot. We're just spamming Thorn Shield. Right now we have over 30 stacks. Oh, where'd all your life go? Already at 50%. When the Harbinger hits us with the Lagon beam, it just shreds. Here it is. Here it is. Dead. Let me show you a 450 corruption Shade. Now, same thing with the Shade fight. Can't kill us. We have 4,400 life, 60% endurance, 2,000 endurance threshold, maxed resistances, 30,000 armor, and we wear a shield as well. So you get a little block effectiveness and block chance. We are unbelievably tanky. And the Shade just keeps trying to hit us. Damage is reflected. And the Shade of Werebear, come on. Don't just stand there. Is dead? Dead. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's break down the skills, starting with our damage dealer, which is of course Spriggan Form, and I'll try and show you the order in which you want to take these notes. Now for Spriggan Form, this is where you're actually going to get Thorn Shield, and you're pretty much going to want every node bottom left. You're going to boost your armor, you're going to get a boost to ward when you go into Werebear Form, you're going to unlock Werebear Form, you want Thorn Shield duration, you want a buff to your base reflect damage, you want Thorns cast on you, you want a chance to automatically recast Thorn Shield, and then you're going to be triggering your Maelstrom. At time of recording right now, I have 26 points into Spriggan Form, and believe it or not, you can actually get more. Moving over to Maelstrom. Now, Maelstrom does a couple of things for us. One, we are turning it into a physical spell because everything we do is physical. We are going to be getting healing from this. You're going to be slowing enemies. And of course, this is going to give you haste and frenzy. Spriggan does not have a movement skill, so making sure you have haste all the time is absolutely awesome. And of course, frenzy is going to give you a boost to your cast speed. Moving over to summon Spriggan. Now this one I kept going back and forth on if we want it, and I decided it is value added because of one specific node, and that is right here, Thorny Stalks. This is damage reflected per vitality. For this build right now, I've got about 26, 28 points of vitality, which gives you almost 500 flat reflect. The hard thing about Summon Spriggan is obviously keeping it alive in Endgame. That is why we've gone armor, physical resistance, boost its health, and we boost it through the passive tree and gear. So you're going to get a boost to your reflect damage. It's going to boost your spell and, of course, take care of your crit avoidance. Moving over to Eterras Blessing. You want to come to the left first and get mana efficiency, and then you want this node right here, Rose Bloom. Cast Thorn Shield on use, which means every single time you cast Thorn Shield, you are simultaneously using Eterras Blessing. Another reason why you are absolutely so tanky for this build. You're going to take a boost to healing. You're going to take Healing Totem, boost to your healing when transformed. You're going to get cleansing ailments and heals over time. Huge for survivability. Last skill, and that is Werebear Form. Now, when I was looking at the last skill, we were trying to figure out what we want. We were looking at maybe a second companion. We were maybe thinking of using the gloves that triggers Tornado. I tried every single thing, and basically I've come down that you have two options. Werebear Form, and Werebear is going to give you a movement speed. It is also going to grant haste. It's going to shred armor. It's going to boost your endurance, and it's going to cast Maelstrom. And I do think this is the correct skill. But if you find yourself never using Werebear Form, what you actually take is Serpent Strike. And inside of Serpent Strike, you take Kill Threshold, because that's going to give you an 18% kill threshold. So for your fifth skill, I recommend Serpent Strike or Werebear Form. Moving over to the passives, I am currently level 100. So in the base tree, you want Natural Attunement, Gift of the Wilderness, 5 into Hunter's Restoration, and 1 to Hunter's Emanation. Remember, as much attunement as humanly possible. Attunement is how you actually scale your damage. Moving over to Druid, we have 3 into Plating, 5 into Thicket of Thorns. This is a boost to your reflect damage. 5 into Spirit Warden, 7 into Druid Prowess because we want that attunement. 5 into Focused Wrath. We then jump over here. 10 into Wisdom because we want as much attunement as possible. And then we're going to boost the Companion Health. Again, help keep our Spriggan alive. Boost your health regen. And then 10 points right here into Hide Skin. Maximum health gained is Endurance Threshold. We have 2,000 Endurance Threshold on this build. Jumping over to Beastmaster. 8 into Yersin Strength, 5 into Boarheart, and then moving over to Shaman, we have 8 into Shamanic Fusion, 4 into Tempest Form, 8 into Supremacy. This is going to give us Attunement and Endurance Threshold. It also gives you Stun Avoidance. You are literally never stunned on this build. And then 4 into Fist of Stone, which is also going to help with your health regen. I've gone through these passives over and over and over in my testing. This feels like the best. Moving over to last Epoch tools, we're going to break down the blessings, idols, and gear. And this is going to be very, very easy. When it comes to the blessings, you can get really whatever you want. I took all resistances and health regen, and then spell damage and double armor. But you can grab physical resistance, void resistance, endurance if you need those blessings. The only one I would say is really required is the double health regen because it gives you so much sustain. Okay. Moving over to idols, again, nothing required for this build. So I took double health regen on these two. And then on here, I got some physical and health regen, some cold and life, and then double life. Moving over to gear, there's technically only one item required for this build, and that is Thorn Shield. And Thorn Shield does something very specific. Increased flat damage reflect to attackers per attunement. So the higher the roll, the better. And you can get it as high as 9%. So that would mean on this build right now, I have a T7 on my armor and a T7 on my shield for damage reflected to attackers, which is going to put us at 1,346 flat reflect. So then you would take 9% times 117, which is going to be a huge number. And then that goes into the calculation at 1300. I was reflecting over 100,000 damage. And remember that reflect damage ignores everything. No resistances, no armor, no endurance. It cuts through all of it. That's how we're killing enemies so fast. So you really want a Thorn Shield. We are using Veil Root. This is going to give you increased area with Thorn Shield and +1 to Spriggan Form and flat reflect. You want Thorn Slinger. This is going to give you another level and flat reflect. You want Hazel Root because you have a chance to cast Thorn Shield on yourself when you directly use a physical skill, which all of your skills are physical. We are using Tears of the Forest. This will help keep you in Spriggan Form with Vines and give you another level. And then down here, you have an option. You can use a Dedicated of the Erased, and this is going to give you less damage taken over time and another skill. Or what you can use is the Chalice right here. Now, the Chalice is probably actually better. You just got to slam it right. But the Chalice is going to give you an additional 100% damage reflect, which is good to have. The other items we are using, Ancestral Crown. Maximum health gained is Endurance Threshold. You have a ton of health with this build. Boots. Attunement, movement speed, double health. For our rings, we're using double coral rings for attunement. And on here, I put minion health to try and keep our Spriggan alive. And then we are using Eternal Gauntlets, which are really important for this build because you need armor mitigation applies the damage over time. Sometimes you have to reflect that damage over time, and you want the experimental affix on here to double up on that. Get as much attunement, cast speed, health regen as you can. So that is the gear. Now I'm going to give you just a quick kind of calculation. Looking at this reflect right now, I am sitting at 1,346, all right? And what's cool about reflect damage in its flat form is it cuts through everything. So it is just damage. It doesn't have a damage type, and it ignores endurance. It ignores resistances. It ignores all armor. It just cuts through all that and hits the enemy. That's why enemies are basically exploding themselves. But Thorn Shield, given that 9% increased flat damage reflected per attunement, it would be 9% times 117. So whatever that number is, times the 1346. It is huge. We were reflecting 100,000 flat damage back to the attackers. That is how we were able to push this build so far. That is the gear. Last but not least, let's talk leveling. Aaron, this is great, but how do I take it from level 1 to end game? I will show you. Now, for me, it does not matter if I'm a Beastmaster, Shaman, or a Druid. I basically use the same 3 skills to level in last Epoch. Swipe is our main damage dealer, and this skill by itself will take you through the campaign. And what I basically do is snag these 3 nodes right here. It is going to give you hit damage, leech, area, and kill threshold, and then you're going to boost your attack speed with Feline Hunter. So those are the nodes you want for your main skill, Swipe. The second skill you want to take is Warcry, or you can take Maelstrom. I like snagging Warcry, which is going to give you a boost to your crit because you're going to take Berserker, and it's going to automate your Maelstroms. You then take Maelstrom, and you want to take it in its physical form, and you can get Frenzy and Haste. So using Maelstrom, Warcry, and Swipe, you will fly through the campaign, and then you want to put an unspec'd Fury Leap on your bar so you still gain a movement speed. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new Pure Reflex Spriggan? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. A couple of asks at the end of the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, only if you think I've earned it. Check out the Discord. We draw a giveaway every 2 weeks, so just for being a member of my community, you get a chance to win something. We cover all things action RPG, awesome, non-toxic community. And lastly, Patreon is the best way to support. It's the first link in the description. We have movie night for Patreon coming up on Tuesday. We do a movie night and a game night every single month. It's just a fun way to get together with the community. First link in the description. I'm done. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.